Hey folks, how's it going out there? I've got the opportunity today to be fishing in an actual ice hut, and that's good because it is very, very windy outside. It would suck to be in the pop-up hut in this kind of weather. So do you guys hear some audio coming through? David, you can hear the sound of my voice, right? Okay, good. Yeah, it's weird. I got my microphone hooked up so I can sort of move around and chat, and the microphone won't make sound when I'm moving through the chat here. Check this guy out. Oh yeah. Custom made for real fishing spoon. I intended to sell them at one point, and I've got a bunch of them. Problem is that mailing them costs a lot of money. More than the spoon is worth, so I guess maybe I gotta sell a couple at a time. Gonna throw down this big blade bait. See how that rolls? I don't know if I've used it much. And you guys have much luck with blade baits? This is the rig I like to throw on my jacker. Anyway, so it's actually two flutter spoons. They're super light. And then I got a treble hook at the end here. I put the minnow on there. I've used these throughout all sorts of the videos that I've done so far. Fairly successful. It's got maybe like a 12-inch dropper there. So the minnow goes, and as he goes, he shakes the spoons and they rattle together. Yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with the jig and minnow. That's for sure. Do you have a favorite? David, do you have a favorite color of jig head you like to use? Huh. Maybe I'll have to give that a try there, Craig. White, then orange. So you start with white and then work into the orange. If the white's not working. Is that correct? Chartreuse is a classic. Yeah, this is the most flattering angle right now. I'm just wearing a lot of layers, okay, guys? Yeah, you know what? There was a guy up here named Rob Hyatt, and he ran one of the fish operations. And he swore, you ask him anything about what he would throw on, and it was always a white jig head. In the summer, it was a white jig head, worm, and in the winter, white jig head and a shiner. So let me show you the other rig I got set up here for dead sticking. I don't have a jaw jacker. I do have a jaw jacker, but I just want to try something a little different. There's one of these tip down holders on top of a milk basket, of course. You know, I spend so much. Oh, have action here, or is that just minnow action? No, I think that's action. Yeah, Mr. Perch. Gotta be Mr. Perch. Oh yeah, juicy jumbo. Trying out these perchers. They seem to work pretty good. So I haven't been catching too many perch. You know what? Something about the first fish. I'll try to let them go. But I often screw myself out of a meal. Why can you only see your comments? Huh. That's mysterious. Hopefully I didn't do some sort of blocking or some shit like that. Pardon my French, kids. Okay. Got another minnow down. If it's a school of perch, we'll be keeping some of them. So you guys keep your eye on this rod, and I'll be jigging a rod on the other side here with that blade bait. And if something happens over there, I'll move the camera. All right, taking off that blade bait. Something about it, it's not doing good. Yeah, I really like blade baits for what they are. Like, the vibration is great. Casting, they cast like a breeze. I don't know if I've had too much luck with them jigging ice fishing. The pike chewing on the hand, that design. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good story. For a second there, I was like, there was no story behind that. And then I'm like, no, there is. One time, my wife and I went down to the Rouge River in Scarborough there. And we were fishing just from the shore. You know, we had worms on the hooks. And then this strange dude shows up. You know, he was sort of like wearing like shorts, really high shorts, and some socks that went up really, really high. And he had some sort of Tilly style hat. And his, he had red hair. And he was a curious guy because he walked right up to my wife and I. There were a lot of people there. He walked up to us, figured we were cool, I guess, and started chatting to us about his fishing experiences in that very spot. And he said that, well, number one, we're like, do you ever catch fish here? And he's like, oh yeah, every hour on the hour. And we're like, okay, this guy is one of those down by the river types, huh? Catching a fish every hour on the hour. So he spins us a couple of yarns, and one yarn is that he was fishing one day, and then all of a sudden, he realized that his skin was covered in fire ants, and so he's like freaking out, and the more he freaks out, the more the ants like climb all over him, and then he claims that he woke up in the hospital with like something like 10,000 ant bites. Anyway, that was one of his stories, believe it or not. And then the other story was he was like, did you hear about that pike they caught in here? Great big one. They took it down to the ministry, and the ministry found a human hand inside its belly, So you wonder, how did that happen? Was this guy just making up stories? Maybe. But it would be pretty wild to find a fish with a human hand in it. It seems more like a Jaws kind of situation. Because I doubt that a pike could rip your hand off. However, if you, say, expired in the water and then spent some time fermenting down there, maybe a pike could get a hold of your hand. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to that guy. I'm sure he's still hanging out at the Rouge River. I used to meet all sorts of characters fishing around Toronto because I guess at the time in Toronto there were like, oh, here we go. We've got a micro perch on here. Ooh, that one's not micro. Finally getting to see some perch around here. Let's try that again. Easy, buddy. Yeah, this thing works pretty good. Yeah, that's probably a keeper fish. I'm going to keep this guy for the frying pan. What do you think? I don't think he's too hyped about it. There you go. One perch for the pan. I wonder if it's going to be all perch today. See, classic dead stick. It's always worth having the dead stick. It seems to always work out. Sometimes, there's not as much action on it, but sometimes it'll make your whole day. Let me get this bucket out. Oops. So when you guys are keeping fish, how do you prefer to dispatch them? I personally go for the blunt object. Although, dude by not name of Rob Hyde there, he showed me how to sort of grab the fish's head like a pop can or pop tab and sort of break its neck in a certain way. Sounds a lot like opening a can of Coke. I don't know. It's a good way to do it if you are short on short sticks, whatnot. I also really like when I'm filleting the fish. I like to do the butterfly style. So I got the camera down there. Whoops. Don't tell me I'm out of battery already. I don't know if the camera's of much value here. Again, it's like the time of day where you can't really see anything. And even when you, like this lake is so murky sometimes, even if you turn on the light there, you still can't see anything. But I have the camera down there on a rotating gizmo. It's attached to this. So I'm just going to be trying to move it around, see if I can see my lure. But the holes in this hut are sort of like probably about 5 feet, maybe more, 6 feet apart. So they might be too far to actually see in this lake. If you were in Temagami, different story, you know? One time I was salmon fishing down by they had an outhouse there. It was by Old Mill. They had an outhouse. And you're thinking, sweet, you know, somebody's thinking about us fishermen out here. And then you go and I went and opened that outhouse, and like every single wall was smeared with feces. Every single wall, like everywhere. And you start to wonder, like, what caliber of dude is going to pull that one? You know, you probably think like somebody who's totally lost their mind, but it could be like one of these secretive business types. You know, he went in there wearing a suit, and when he came out, the whole thing was just smeared in feces. I don't know. Open the door and toss, eh? My neighbor does that too. I mean, in the cold, I'm sure they freeze pretty quickly. In fact, I know they freeze pretty quickly. I've carried back many a solidly frozen perch. My hands are regular size there. Sorry, I lost track of who I was talking to here. Yeah, these rods are pretty big actually. They're both medium heavy. Because I hooked up with these guys, Masuda Fishing, and they make. So I've been giving them a shot, and they seem to be working. This is the first day I've taken them out here, you know. I mean, I have rods that are less designy, I guess. This one definitely has a lot of thought put into how you hold these rods. I know the guy was showing me, you might be holding it like this, and I don't know if you guys do that. I usually don't myself. My brother does though, and it seems to work for him. But as well, these rods, I guess the guy told me that they're trying to make higher quality rod for a very reasonable price. So they seem pretty slick to me. We'll see. We'll see how it works. I guess it's like a Canadian dude. He designed them, but I think they are manufactured in China. But let's see how they work out. But they are fairly long, like you noted. Sorry. The keys were actually the remote for the camera and my keys combined. Yeah, I've come very close to losing my phone down the hole. And what happened was I ended up getting one of these. It's like a little plastic doodad that you put your phone in, and that you can still use your phone through it, but it goes around your neck. I used to swear by those, and then I guess I decided to start living more recklessly and not have my phone in protective case anymore. They were also waterproof too. That was the other cool thing. When you say 40 in here, are you saying that's the number of fish you caught so far? Yeah, I think they look like they're very well thought out. That's for sure. Um, the ultimate test was I gave one to Baby Owie, and he started winging it around. He wasn't like trying to kill it, but if you want to see something break fast, you usually hand it to a baby. So he played with it, and the rods were still in great shape. He was bending around, doing crazy things, and I even gave him a bit of a bend test, see how I liked it. Were you able to recover your phone that you lost in the bowl of tomato soup? Seems like something that would be difficult to get a phone to recover from. Sorry, I keep putting my finger in front of the camera because I'm trying to look at the pictures here. Yeah, I think we hit 40 at one point, didn't we? And then goes up and down. You know, Ali, I'm not sure. I find I'm finding that the perch bite around here has been very slow this year, but I would say that the walleye bite in this area has been kind of surprising. Nothing out of the ordinary, or nothing through the roof, but there's more walleye coming in here than there are perch this year so far. We're still early in. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. Right on. Well, I think we've hit like 25 on the first and second one. So if we're getting up to 40, then people are starting to check this stuff out. Really, no perch on the south shore, eh? I did notice that when I was fishing there, that it seemed like mostly walleye. So did you just hose off the phone and dry it out in rice or whatever? Is that the way you handle it? My wife once dropped her iPhone in a river. She had a real streak there where she was dropping things in crazy places. Dropped another phone on like a slushy street, and it got run over like 50 times until it was just like a glassy pile of slush. That was that was something. So I got the vibrato on the right rod. Those are some of my favorites. I haven't thrown any rattlesnakes yet. I think I might do that. That's usually high on my list. Did you still eat the soup afterwards? Must have had a phony bite to it. Hey, walleye hunter, how you doing? You hunting walleyes today or what? Well, I wish that flasher came through for you guys a little better. I wonder if I shone big light on it here. That makes it any better. Not really. You guys have any kind of wild jigging styles you like to make use of? It's funny because one time I made like I was playing the drums as a joke, like I was making a joke video, as I sometimes do, and I started making like I was playing the drums with the rod, to a pretty intense beat. And next thing you know, fish on. It was a Cisco. Yep, Cisco. Just putting a new lure on here. So I'll have to give you the tour of this hut before it gets too dark. Might as well do that right now. Get this lure down. Give you the view. So, here we got a window. It's got a shaving mirror here. If you need it. Might as well turn this light on here. So this is Nipissing sunset out in the back here. There isn't a lot of sun because it's very overcast today. Then we've got the stove over here. That's heating the place up. Got a couple logs rolling. And you got a pan there if you want to heat up water on the stove. Of course, there's a big bench over here. Of course, I have all sorts of wires and stuff all around because, well, I'm trying to film this live stream, right? So I added these crazy lights up here, which can go a variety of disco colors. I wasn't really aware of that when I purchased them, but you know, might not hurt somewhere down the pike. Gotta add some flair. So, you know, that's the outside. That's where all the action is as far as the wind is concerned. This hut has 4 holes. This hole, that hole, the hole where my camera is in, and then the other hole is covered up with a bunch of stuff right now. So that's what's going on. Definitely had something here. We almost lost the rod. Well, not really, but I bet a minnow was stolen. I can tell you that much. Oh, minnow's still there. Kind of looks rough though. Maybe I should change them up. Keep them fresh, you know? How often do you guys change your baits? You know, with minnows, it's funny because they don't seem to have like a long shelf life. But leeches, I wish leeches worked in the wintertime. So those guys will last through anything. All right, he's lively. Okay, minnows on the tip down. So right now the depth I'm at is 18.3 feet. I sometimes have put a salted minnow on either end of the vibrato. I do find that quite successful. Even as a dead stick, that rig with a minnow on each side will do amazing things with just the vibrato just dangling there. But yeah, sometimes a minnow head on each end. A lot of times, you know, doesn't need anything. It does quite well on its own. And definitely the action gets messed up when you start adding minnows to the vibrato. I can tell you that much. I'm sure you know. Beaver tail. No, I've never heard of that. Yes, definitely. When the fish are biting, dead minnows work great, and they're less hassle to put on the bait. They give you less of a fight. You change them as soon as they die, huh? Awesome when the acid kicks in, eh? How's it going there, Struckus? I wonder if my brother is watching this right now. He should pipe into the conversation. I'd be like, I'm still at work. Swedish pimple, eh? I think I've got Montley, and that seemed to work pretty good, actually. I'd hook the minnow right under the dorsal fin. So far, John, almost all of my fishing has taken place on live stream. So whatever you've seen on there is what I've been catching. I think I've only got out a few times, but most of the time I get the most amount of time like right now. Yeah. Yeah, having to film things and fish at the same time is a challenge. And reading stuff as well. Yeah, let me turn this so I am looking at my flash again. I've never tried putting a herring on for pike. Actually, you know what? I think I used like a dead herring, like a regular dead sea herring once in an attempt to catch a pike in Toronto Harbor. Didn't work out for me though, but I had a lot of herrings. Yeah, man. Walleye hunter, I'm very happy to hear that, buddy. I look forward to seeing it. I've had a few people sending me in videos, and it's cool. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to watching them. So if you have like an Instagram or if you have TikTok or whatever, you can send me, or you can just send me the file straight through like one of those file sharing things, depending on how big the video is. But send it my way, and I'll make sure that it goes into the compilation I'll be making later. Oh, got a fish down there. All right, I'm gonna try putting a. Let's see what I got. All right, let's go with. Just line up a new lure here. Let's see what I'm gonna go for. How many lures do you guys bring out per outing when you go? Because I probably only use like 5 or 6 of them, but I always bring probably at least 100. if you you can send that video to foreelfishing@gmail.com altogether. If I had it written on a piece of paper, I'd flash it in front of the screen, but I don't. But yeah, that'd be a good spot. Good spot to send it. Forgot to show you this lure I just threw on. I'm sure lots of you guys will. There we go. I'm sure lots of you guys will recognize this one. Slab grabber. Seems like such a crude little rig, but sometimes it really hits the spot when nothing else is hitting. Something about the way it falls, I think. Oop. Shown. It's a Wally. Easy, buddy. All right, fry 14. Went for the dead stick minnow spoon combo. Had a lot of life in them. That's for sure. Slipped out of my hands a few times there. So it's just about time for me to turn on some lights. Bigger lights, heavier ones. Let me fire a new minnow on. Go from there. Whoop. All right, lively minnow, spoon rig. Going back down. All right, back in business. Yeah, as far as the snowmobile trails closing, I don't know snowmobile myself, but I imagine that's quite the huge burn. To date, sorry, I was cut off there. Is the is the reason they shut it down because they thought it was encouraging people to come up here? Like I don't know. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm sure for every snowmobiler, it's a huge bummer. It's like, was it necessary? I don't know. Somebody out there must think it was the right thing to do. So, John, you got three kinds of the slab grabber, is that right? Yeah, I do find the slab grabber does work great for perch, and it also works real good for walleyes as well. Well, thanks for joining us here, Andre. It's trying to bring live fishing to you guys. You know what's funny is that like afterwards people watch these videos too. Like I think the last one got somewhere in the area of like 900 views. Now I don't know if they're watching a full hour. You know, it makes you wonder. I marked a couple of fish that came in, but they came and they left. The lure side where my flasher is doesn't seem to be getting nearly as much action as the live dead stick minnow. Now, did the slab grabbers originate on Simcoe? I thought I read that somewhere. Thanks, Andre. I'm going to try to keep rolling with this every week. See how this goes. I might not always have the luxury of being inside this hut, but I'll definitely be in my pop-up hut a lot. You can buy the slab grabber. I got mine from Thomas there at North Bay Outfitters. I'm pretty sure during the last lockdown he set up his like an online version of his store, so I'm sure you can acquire them online, or if he's doing curbside, I don't know. Grab slappers. That's a good one. It's funny, you know. I always throughout like I've been fishing since I was a little kid. My dad had us fishing when we were very very young. Surprise, surprise. And as life went on, I just found the names for lures to just be hilarious. When you stop and think about all the different lingo that goes with fishing, it's pretty funny. Like the fact that a lot of people will refer to like a big bass or a big fish as a hog or a toad or a heifer. And in a lot of the world, calling anything fat is usually considered a bad thing. But if you're talking about a fish, it's totally a great thing, you know? The fatter, the better. It's funny how that works. You can't hear anything. Is that true? Let me see what I can do. Thank you for letting me know. Actually, I have no idea how it sounds coming out to you guys. Okay, so this should be louder. Should be louder. Okay. Yeah, like I have a microphone set up and it was supposed to enhance the audio here because before it was just going through my phone. So in this case, when I move, I'll still be able to talk. But sorry, did it really make a lot of noise there, Struckus? Sorry, I was tapping on the microphone. It's usually a bad move. Okay, that's good. As long as it's not like overloading. Yeah, when I'm doing the ice reports, I usually have I use this Rode Wireless Go microphone. It's this tiny little wireless microphone. It's fantastic. Not a cheap item, you know. It's like 200 plus bucks, but I tell you, for the size and the efficiency of it, and it's got good sound. Here's the thing, though, is I'm using my regular cell phone right now, and I usually shoot all my ice reports and everything on this crummy old Sony Xperia phone that I haven't used. I guess it was the phone I had before the one I'm using to broadcast from. Right behind your couch. So yeah, I'm used to that other phone for how the audio levels play out, and this Huawei phone I got here plays all sorts of funny tricks on me. It's great at like it can take some amazing video, but it also is terrible with its autofocus. I mean, I'm trying harder to improve the quality, the production quality. I was looking into what it would be to attach like a separate like a webcam to my phone and run that. And I think the problem is I won't be able to see the chat. And you know what? I think that the chat is really what I find entertaining about doing it like this, you know? It would just sort of be weird if I was broadcasting and couldn't, you know, chat with you guys. Wouldn't feel right. All right. I don't want that there. There we go. So, surprised I've been on here for 57 minutes already. I'm probably about half a kilometer, maybe a full kilometer out on the ice. Takes me a couple minutes to get out here. I've tried being closer, like setting up huts closer. I think I even have a spot that's maybe 50 yards closer from here where I was doing okay the other day. But some people swear you got to go further. Some people say you got to go all the way to the islands if you really want to get some fish. The funny thing is I feel like fishing out here, if you fish it every day, you'll eventually get if you fish out here every day, you'll eventually catch some interesting and decent sized fish. But I'm sure there's better places on the lake to go if you have the means. Come on, one more fish here. One more perch would be great. I know we're coming to the end of the hour here. I think my next, which might allow me to extend these. Of course. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, feel free to send me a Facebook. Yeah, you know, when I lived down south, I used to come up here for like a week at a time, usually in the summertime, and I just pine away all year round for that 1 week to come up. And then now that I live up here, just any day when I feel like, you know, if I have the time, I'm like, oh, I got an hour this afternoon, or oh, I got 2 hours, and I just walk out, and it's all great. Like, it's better in the winter. This is why I like ice fishing that much, or so much. It's like in the winter time, you know, if you can stand the cold, you can come out here whenever you got time. Summertime, you're dealing with serious waves. Yeah, I better fire a minnow onto my jigging rig here and go out with a bang, you know? Come on. Yeah, you know what? Having some changes going down at work that aren't making me happiest guy in the universe at the moment. But I forgot all about it during this chat we've got here, and I appreciate that. It's good to get your mind off things. I do occasionally catch ling out here. Usually a couple a season, but never like crazy amounts. My brother and I went to the islands there, and we definitely got into some juicy ones there. All right, so I got a rattle spoon and a minnow. This is my ender rig. Yeah, if you just go on, Sam, if you just go on Facebook and just type in for eel fishing, you should be able to find my Facebook page there. And you guys can contact me through that if you need. Fishing does indeed clear the soul. Even the walking out here really eased eased me a lot. Something about having that ice cold wind blowing in your face just resets your mind a little bit. Oh, had a bump. Come on. I believe the thing I just threw down actually. Yeah, it is hard to see under the water. Like my camera's running right now. Of course, it's dark, but can't see much. Yeah, probably about as soon as I'm done. I might give you a couple more minutes here. As soon as I'm done with the live stream, I'll be going in. So if I catch anything, you'll know it. So far, I got the one perch. I should have kept that first perch, but I thought it was lucky, Means I got a fish tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, my underwater camera is it's a real massive thing. I've seen ones that are really small now that I'm like, wow, I wish I had that small one and not this friggin' monster. I actually have the light off now. I had it on earlier, and the light on is definitely like having your lights on in a fog. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the places that I fish around here in the summertime don't seem to produce for me in the wintertime in the same way that these clam flats seem to work. Like in the summertime, I troll all along the rocks along the shore here, and generally in the June time, there'll be lots of walleye there. And then once you hit July, it's the bass, July and August, the bass start really sailing in there, and you can get some real juicy ones. Come on, fish, let's go. All right, I'm going to run this for 2 more minutes. Maybe the fish gods will shine on me. Yeah, if any of you guys are on TikTok, I know it seems like one of the newer ones. Anyway, I just signed up for that the other day. There's some interesting fishing stuff. If you try to watch any of the other stuff, though, it might annoy you endlessly. So watch out. But I'm also on Instagram, For Real Fishing. For Real Fishing. Type it in any of those places, you'll find me there. And of course, don't forget there's the t-shirts and stuff for sale. And I Cook with Ice is for sale. It is actually now on Spotify. If that is something you use, I don't really use it, but I guess people put things on. Or I'm not going to try to pretend that I know how Spotify works, but I know there's playlists of some sorts. That's a good one. Maybe I'll have to stomp the floor here. How many times did you have to stomp till the fish showed up? Until they show up? Come on. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I think when people play it on Spotify that I get some amount of shekels. Sweet. Yeah, I was looking at the North Bay radio stations today, And I'm like, which one of these guys would actually accept I cook with ice if I sent it to him, you know? It would be cool to get some maybe the newspapers are like, yeah, you know, we're a fishing town. We need to acknowledge this fishing anthem written by a local. I think my minnow came off my hook. All right, well, I guess that means that it's time for me to roll. It's been swell. I I may come back out tomorrow. I don't know if I'll live stream it. Well, maybe if I talk to Rogers in the morning and get the 20 gigabyte package, maybe I'll live stream some more. Or maybe I'll be busy doing something else. We'll see. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming around. It's been swell. Fishing's great. I love it. I know that's why you guys are here. So we'll be doing some more live streams in the future. And I guess today we caught 2 perch and 1 wally. Now, if those numbers would improve, that'd be great, but whatever. I love fishing anyway. Have yourselves a great night.